For our final debate, I am joined by Hector DeLeon and Jordan Ziegler to debate the XFL and its kickoff weekend. Dwayne Johnson purchased the league in 2020, and this past weekend we saw the league start off with hopes they can fully finish their season, unlike the last time with the COVID-19 pandemic. But is this league actually good for football? Jordan, let's start with you.
No, the simple answer is no, it's not. I kind of don't like that I'm even talking about the XFL because it's giving it more credit than it deserves. I think the XFL is an absolute joke of a league. It doesn't deserve any time on national television, which, by the way, it is getting slots on national television, which is absurd.
What's wrong with that, though? There's nothing wrong with that.
Because the product on the field is Ben DiNucci as a starting quarterback. That doesn't deserve time on national television.
No. You gotta understand. Like, if you're expecting the NFL product in the XFL, you're a fool. You're just fooling yourself.
I agree, but that's why it shouldn't be on national television, because you're not getting professional football as the content.
Well,
that's
first
not
of all,
what you're getting.
it is professional football. They're getting paid.
Well,
Second
yeah,
of all,
but they're washed.
No, it's there's something so magical and so much fun about these players who just don't have a chance in the NFL to just star in the XFL. It's so much fun. It's fun.
I don't know how you're going to use the word magical when you talk about the XFL. Already going off of the bad competition, you don't have people coming to watch the games. I mean, the stadiums are half full for the most part, and it's a shame because they're playing in NFL stadiums that are not suited for. They're suited for 70,000 people, not 10,000.
Actually,
the XFL's lucky if they're getting 10,000 people.
So actually, this is interesting because there's only one NFL stadium that's being used for the XFL, which is Lumen Field for the Seattle Sea Dragons, baby. And here's the other thing. I think you're just mad because it's taking time away from baseball in the spring.
I have no clue what you're talking about right now.
Look, football has been America's pastime for years now. It's been the most popular sport. And so why not have more of it? Like, how hype is it that the Super Bowl just ended and oh man, there's no more football. Wait a minute, the XFL with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as one of the owners? That's crazy.
That's the thing though. When there's a championship ending in a respective sport, you have an off season. You do season off, okay? The football fans everywhere should not have the Super Bowl and then be like, oh, more football. That's a terrible schedule. Not to mention, in April when the draft rolls around, anyone that's a football fan has an NFL team already. There's going to be just substantial more interest in the NFL and the NFL's offseason. And any network covering the XFL is going to stop covering the XFL because they're going to be covering the NFL offseason. They're going to be covering the draft. They're going to be covering free agents.
But you got to.
The XFL has this weird month and a half period where they're semi-relevant, and that's it.
Look, you got to understand. The amount of people on Twitter being sad, crying their eyes out that they got to wait for live football again until August, September for college to come back. You got to understand, this is an opportunity for players who couldn't make it in the NFL to make a name for themselves. The biggest name coming out of the last iteration of the XFL is P.J. Walker, who is now a backup for the Panthers. He had an amazing play this past season, throwing a Hail Mary pass, almost winning the Panthers that one game that they were playing. It gives players an absolute chance to just shine and make a name for themselves outside of being in college again, because obviously they can't go back. So now they got to make a name for themselves now to make themselves known in NFL roster. That's the whole point.
The only reason that P.J. Walker was even playing a game was because of how bad the Panthers quarterback situation was last year. 1, 2, if you're not good enough to make it in the league outside of college, the NFL isn't like the MLB or the NBA where they have a G League or a minor leagues. If you don't make it out of college, you're kind of just done. Tough luck. I'm sorry. It sounds harsh, but that's how it is. The XFL puts on a bad product. It would be on the same scale as a minor league football league. And minor league leagues playing the same season as their major league counterpart because no one wants to watch a minor league product on national television.
Yeah, because it would be dumb if the XFL put itself in the fall with the NFL to compete. That's not what's going to happen. They tried to do that in the first iteration, and Vince McMahon didn't know what he was doing. All right, he didn't know what he was doing the first time. He had a better idea, but obviously COVID, you can't really do too much about that. Here's the thing, all right? It's just, I think you're player hating, all right? No Biggie Smalls, but lay on the ground, you've been robbed, all right? You're just player hating. You're just hating on, something that's so good. Well, I mean,
that's all there is to it.
You got redemption stories. You got Josh Gordon is playing on the Seattle team now.
Which, good for him.
He has a chance. Exactly. It's good for him. It's good for all those players. just make something known for themselves. You know, there are 53 men on an NFL roster. If they can just have a chance to get on there with just a little bit of film, a little bit of tape, that's all they need. That's all they want. They want an opportunity, and plus they're getting paid as well.
I mean, I feel like you're grasping at straws if the ultimate goal of the XFL is to send people to the NFL. I mean, that's not what it's supposed to do. The people in the XFL aren't good enough to ever go to the NFL. The level of competition is so far apart from each other that it's not a feeder league. It's not like you get promoted to the NFL. It's got nothing to do with that. The XFL is simply just a time filler on national television that gives you bad football with kind of stupid football rules, and it's only going to be popular for about a month, give or take, before professional baseball starts up, the NHL hits its postseason, the NBA hits its postseason, college baseball. I mean, you have like a bunch of sports that other people care way more about. People care way more about the NFL offseason than they will about the XFL season. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's a forced product. They're forcing us to consume football.
I think it's a big entertainment factor for the fans, for people like us who just want to watch a little more football and watch something different. No, you got to give it a chance. You got to give it a chance. It's something different. And actually, the XFL is in partnership with the NFL to test out these new rules that used to be. No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
They're interesting and they're different. Look, I can admit the kickoff rule is a little suspect.
It's pretty awful.
It's a little suspect.
It's pretty awful.
But it allows for a little more exciting plays. There's no more touchbacks in the XFL. There just really isn't. And I mean, touchbacks are kind of annoying. I mean, if your average start for a drive is at the 25-yard line, kind of weird. In the XFL, it's like the 28-29.
Yeah, but it rewards kickers for being able to put it through the back of the end zone every time.
No one wants to watch that. We're taking the foot out of football, all right? Even the extra point rules are interesting. Like, there's no more kicking for an extra point. You got to go for a 2-point conversion, 3-point, or just the 1-point conversion, and it's always like a run play. There's no kicking in the XFL, which is pretty cool. It's cool. It's exciting, and it brings a new exciting development. And also, probably one of the more exciting things is in the fourth quarter, if you're down, and you got to go for the onside kick to get possession. You can go 4th and 15 on your own 25. That's exciting. That's some exciting football, man.
I'm gonna have to completely disagree. You made some good points, but I disagree with them. That's about all the time we have for this debate. We're gonna send it back over to Max to finish up the show.